Day 4 of pool play continues from SDSU Sports Deck in San Diego. It's the deepest, most talented pool outside of Pool A. Pool C, featuring 3 top 10 teams in the world. And this game decides, in all effect, the winner of Pool C. Israel against Puerto Rico. It's a matchup we've been looking forward to, Courtney, since the start of the tournament.
When you look at their rosters, they have a lot of talent. They like to share the ball. They like to play quick and fast. However, as the tournament progresses, I do expect for things to slow down in international play. There's no shot clock.
Really interested to see how that particular facet of the rules plays into this matchup. We've seen teams that really embrace that just feel in a comfort zone, Courtney, with no possession clock. And as you hinted at there, this probably isn't one of those examples.
You know, when you look at the rules, a lot of these players have played the collegiate game. They're used to shot clocks. They're used to running and gunning it. They like to play fast, get out early. But again, as legs start to fatigue, rosters have just 23 men per side. You know, they're looking to extend their life. They each want to be going into bracket play, and today decides a lot. Potentially, one of these teams could get in as a second place finish, but you aren't sure.
You aren't sure, and you want your best possible positioning for the best possible finish at the end of the day. Team Puerto Rico wearing white with the red. Team Israel in the blues. Jared Hirschman, primary face-off player for Puerto Rico, is out with a wrist injury for the rest of the tournament, so that's something to watch out for. Israel wins the opening face-off. And Ryan Fitzpatrick, who scored 2 pole goals and did the gritty after the second one last time around. Israel coming off a victory against the Philippines. Same with Puerto Rico. The difference is that Israel got yesterday off.
And that's something that's not lost on the Puerto Rican team. They know that they've played 3 games in 3 days, this being their 4th in 4 days. I do expect for them to take things a little slower once they do touch the ball, but Israel's been playing with a lot of confidence. Again, whether coming out of the backside of the field, they've been pushing the ball in transition, but right now it's all about getting touches for everyone, getting comfortable, checking out any possible mismatches.
This is Jackson Apelt. Sending it on behind for Solomon out of Syracuse University. Both coaches were quick to mention the difference between having the day off and not. As Shane sent back out. Yeah, Alec Jernstedt said, on paper, we're not the favorite today because we played one more game, we're tired. Max Silberlicht was not buying it. He said, well, they're college kids, they're in great shape. He doesn't view it that way.
Now, obviously, there's a story that each coach wants to tell their team. You want to make sure they're coming out on fire, never taking anything too lightly. Both teams have a lot of players from the D1 ranks, whether current or past. A lot of experience on the field in terms of playing in big moments.
There's a narrative that coaches are trying to control coming in. Everyone wants the chip on their shoulder and the underdog status these days, as that shot is stopped by Will Mark. And a goalie rotation for Puerto Rico. Will Mark out of Syracuse as well. Usually gets the first half. Will Ramos will come in later. That was a potential loose ball, but Melendez does well to capture it.
You could see that quick outlet pass by Will Mark. Again, wanting to push transition. A little bit surprised on that again. Coaches had talked about taking things a little slower initially. They're not as fresh. But that outlet pass said, we're starting transition, we're doing it now.
Yeah, Puerto Rico, the stated goal was pretty clear from Coach Jernstedt, which was to slow Israel down, be methodical on these possessions. Kevin Lewis, team leader in goals, coming in with 8. Tied with Melendez, number 31, who also has 8. Aviles gets one off, and he scores. The 5th goal of the competition for another Syracuse player. They're all over this matchup in Brandon Aviles.
Aviles, having 4 years at Syracuse, he's going to be headed to Hopkins for his 5th year. Dynamic player on the field. You see that he got a step on his defensive player. Nice little stutter step. Driving, strong side. Again, anytime you can take a shot on the run, makes it more difficult for that keeper to track. Slides coming a little bit late.
See, as a Syracuse guy, I just stress the Syracuse side of it. I don't try to selectively ignore the fact that he's going to Hopkins.
May have learned a thing or two for his head coach, Gary Gait. Maybe.
Just a little bit, yeah. That's a pretty good person to learn under. Well, Puerto Rico gets off to a quick start. And we'll see how much the loss of Hirschman, though, matters. Both of these teams really struggled in face-offs against Philippines. Robert Shane trying to bully his way in.
Philippines playing both of them tough, low-scoring games. And as you look at the Pool C, it was pretty favorable in terms of Israel, Philippines, Puerto Rico having some tough games. Obviously, Philippines were not able to pull any of those out, but they are for sure an up-and-coming team.
Yeah, they're going to terrorize whoever they have to face in kind of the middle bracket. It's kind of a shame for Philippines that they couldn't make it to the winner's bracket, but just a really tough draw. Solomon tried to find his balance, throws it back. This should settle down and stay in possession for Rotatori and Team Israel. Out of Keene State College, Rotatori, former indoor world championship player, taught the tough angle like you might see in a box lacrosse game, and that's out and backed up by Israel.
We see a lot of teams looking for that isolation dodge, some picks and cuts off ball. It's all about the ball movement as well as moving your feet. Both teams, so they don't care who is scoring. It's not any one particular player who's been dominant every game. It's kind of a rotation, unique for both teams, which is a good thing. When you aren't relying on any one or two players, and you're certainly balanced, it makes it more difficult for the defense to match.
Well, these are two of the top scoring teams in the field so far, and actually the 2 top man-up teams. So look out for the penalties and trying to stay out of penalty situations for the defenses. Will Mark has stepped up early on, feeling good in the crease for Team Puerto Rico. But there was an issue, I think, either holding too long in the crease or coming out, going back in. I didn't see the signal, but Mark messed up on the clearing attempt.
And that's a tough one. You just played a good defensive stand. You were able to make a save versus one of the top forwards, Nate Solomon of Israel. His step down and shot, very powerful.
Shane gets himself free and evens the score. So the violation proves costly for Will Mark, and it's even at 1.
Number 30, Robert Shane, another forward for Team Israel, one of their most dangerous offensive weapons. Generally likes working at X. He likes to challenge from behind the goal. This time we saw a sweeping move from up top, just as you had mentioned. This started from a turnover. Seemed like a false start the referees had called. No slides coming early. You can't leave a player like Robert Shane without anybody putting a body on him.
A flag comes in as Israel looked like it had the inside track, but not without committing the penalty. And that should take us to a break with 7.5 to go in the first quarter. We're midway through the opening period of play. Each team has struck once, Israel and Puerto Rico. One of our featured matchups in the entirety of pool play, Israel and Puerto Rico. both undefeated going into today. 7 unbeaten teams left in the entire field of 30. That number's going to shrink by the end of this game. AJ Cannell, Courtney Martinez-Connor, and a 1-1 game early on. Coming off of a penalty, Israel is on the man-down defense. Drew Morris makes the save on the straight-up drive. Puerto Rico gets the ground ball, and coming over for that one was Laureano. They stay on the 6-on-5. Now Melendez lets it loose. He's got it.
Russell Melendez, number 31 in white. He was just a junior this past year at Johns Hopkins. The most dangerous offensive weapon according to the coaching staff and head coach Alec. He's an outside shooter, and you can see why. You don't want to give him a lot of time, room, and space. Man-up opportunities certainly can create that for someone who's a sniper just as Russell Melendez.
The firepower on these rosters is truly impressive. I mean, Melendez, there are some players across the field that, okay, maybe they went to a big-time school, but Melendez producing in a big way at a big-time school. 53 points for Johns Hopkins in their most recent season as a junior in 2023. Coach Silberlich for Israel, he played it more coy and closer to the vest compared to Alec Jernstedt, who came up, spoke with us, and said, we're going to try and slow Israel down. We think they want to speed us up. Coach Silberlich hinted that Israel has a style and they want to take advantage in transition when they can. But again, he wasn't buying the fact that Puerto Rico was tired coming into this one in their 4th game in 4 days.
Not at all. I mean, we see themselves setting up for a dodge right here. Gonna get a lot of space and separation.
Mercado went downhill. Pass intended for Laureano. Loose on the ground and picked up by Andrew Kruder.
You know, that's just the basics right there. A little bit of a miscue on the offensive end of the field.
And now Israel always likes transition. That shot is stopped. But Israel gets it right back. You know, as a former coach, when your team would mess up the basics, which I'm sure didn't happen very often.
Have you ever seen me slam my hand down?
Right.
Yeah, so you're frustrated, yes. You don't want to show that to the team so early. Obviously, mistakes are going to be had. Both of these teams, even though neither coach talked about it, they said what will be will be. Don't focus on the outcome, just play. Makes a lot of sense. Obviously, you always want to.
There's a goal for Joey Kraft out of Tufts. A couple of mistakes lead to a Kraft goal. And it's even at 2.
So that's probably the toughest part. 2 back-to-back goals for Team Israel. The possession happening because of Puerto Rico mistakes. Puerto Rico mistakes off of clears. That's what you don't want to see. Mistakes happen, but it's a matter of not allowing the opposing team to translate that into goals. Nevertheless, Joseph Kraft, excellent work around the crease, tying things up at 2-2.
And you play in a game with a possession timer, and the mistakes, in a way, don't loom as large because there's just so much change of possession, and you kind of just go next play as a default. But when you're going no possession clock, every mistake truly is magnified 3, 4, 5 times what it normally feels like.
That's right. There's no getting the ball back after the shot clock runs out. Teams have been taking 3-4 minutes off of the time. Whatever deems effective now. Granted, the referees can do a timer on, essentially saying you got to keep that ball inside of the scoring area. We haven't seen it here today. The game is still early.
Have a completely packed crowd at the sports deck for this featured matchup. Kevin Lewis. On behind it goes Ramirez. On the question mark. Shot is saved by Morris.
You know, that was a perfect move. Question mark dodge. Defensive player not pushing him out too hard. The humility that Coach Alec Jernstead talked about for his team, it was interesting. He said, this is a game of humility internationally. Oftentimes, it's all about pushing it. In the collegiate game, maybe you take an offhand shot, little iffy angle, no big deal. 10 seconds were left on the shot clock. In this game, hold possession. Wait till you give it to somebody who it is the best angle, the best shot. Very interesting when he said that humility word, because I think that sums the international game up perfectly. It may be an okay look. We're not looking for okay. He said we want the best look each and every time.
Yeah, very well said, and I thought a very thoughtful response from him, and probably something that rings true regardless of what team you're talking about in this format. Robert Shane has got one. They slide two onto him. He goes down in a heap after a quick triple team off almost a double slide. That's kind of what it was. They slid two in his face, and the flag comes in.
You know, sometimes whether it's the right or wrong play, obviously they don't need two players sliding to the ball. But all three, they created disruption. Yes, a penalty happened as we take another look. On-ball defender, a little step behind. Sliding defense coming in. Joshua Valcarcel taking out his own teammate, but they stopped the play, and that's what was needed. You didn't want to have a soft goal given up.
Yeah, I guess if you're going to, as they say, commit to the bit. If you're going to double slide or whatever, you might as well go take them out.
Go for it.
Really go at it in that situation. Time winding down in the first quarter. Israel with a man up. Good look across the formation, and that's in for Solomon. The former All-ACC teamer who's also played professionally in the PLL. Israel out in front for the first time.
Nate Solomon, he scored the first goal for Israel. And now here he is again, scoring their third goal. Nice take inside. Love his patience. He threw a lot of fakes in there. He waited until he had the best possible angle. I feel like a broken record, another Syracuse alum.
Sorry. Well, it's weird. The scoreboard clock said 28 and a half seconds. And, okay, so stop time here at this point in the quarter. It's just a timeout. Timeout, Puerto Rico. They're going to try and do something. Well, we were debating if we should go with Nate or Nathaniel. How about it's Team Israel? How about Natan?
Look at you coming up with your
look,
history. I like it.
It's just that would be the Hebrew way to say it, right? So.
Now, I'm going to challenge you a little bit more. The identity for Team Israel, they expect for three things. Actually, togetherness, selflessness, devotion to a cause. And I'm pretty positive you know how to say those things. I'm going to say
biachad.
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 Togetherness and devotion to a cause.
Heat masrut.
Accountability, selflessness, you know, so much a part of their team is not just about playing internationally. It's about developing the game for those younger players. There's about 400 or 500 youth players actively participating in their respective cities in Israel, and all of their players take this personally. They want to help elevate the game, either full-time members of the Israel staff or part-time, every single player, which is pretty phenomenal.
It really is. Yeah, I'm going to try that again. Heats masrut. I think I got it better that time. But you look at a guy like Ian Kadish, who takes some face-offs, works as a defensive midfielder. I mean, he's just full-time on the grind for Team Israel, executive director of the Israel Lacrosse Association. Still relatively young and playing long-term for Israel Lacrosse, but is basically running the national team program, and they have that type of buy-in all across the roster. This is a lengthy battle for this clamp. And Israel takes it. Popek makes the pass. Shovels it back in. Oh, look out. Israel scores. Krevsky on the save from the end line.
That goal is pushing the envelope to the very end. Less than 4 seconds to go, and what a great play. Kind of goosed the ball back in bounds, was able to find the stick of Maxwell Krevsky. He's a party starter at the midfield. This time he is a finisher on the offensive end of the field. Happened to be in the perfect spot at the right time. All about timing and placement, but that assist from the end line, perfect.
What a play by Popek. And a closely played first quarter ends with 2 in a row. To make it 3 in a row from Team Israel. They were down 2-1, now they're up 4-2.
Quick little recap. Things got started from Brandon Aviles, and then Nate Solomon answered back for Team Israel. Russell Melendez of Puerto Rico tacked one on. Then it was all Israel to end the half. Joseph Kreft, Nate Solomon, and then ultimately Popek to Krevsky. We got ourselves a game.
The 2023 World Lacrosse Men's Championship is sponsored by Rady Children's Hospital, the largest children's hospital on the West Coast, ranked among the 10 best children's hospitals in the nation. As the Israel coaching staff told us, the past is history, the future is a mystery, and right now is a gift, and that's the present. And the first quarter was a gift for Team Israel. 3-0 run they're working on, although Puerto Rico gets the ball here. What do you want to see adjustment-wise right now from Team Puerto Rico?
You know, I think they've done a great job once they get the ball into the offensive end. I'd like to see them just be a little bit more diligent when transitioning the ball from one end to the other. It's been those small little mistakes that Israel has capitalized on. So if they can cut those down, take care of the ball, get it safely into their space, then they can run their offensive sets, which a lot of ball movement, a lot of feet movement, and sharing it.
Aviles given some room, tries the roll dodge, turns back the other way, showing off his multi-handedness. Melendez, Blake Balin, off the split. Balin, good look, that's ripped too high. Aviles with a prime time shot, but just airmails it a bit.
It's the work-off ball. That's what makes it so difficult to defend when they're firing on all cylinders. Again, it's not just the dodger who's initiating, but it's who's picking and working together, cutting on the backside.
Good stop and start. Balin, though, is stopped by Morris. You know what? You started talking about mistakes again. And I was thinking before I brought it up, and it's like it almost sounds annoying to harp on the possession clock, to talk about the mistakes. We've been doing it the whole tournament, but it just rings so true. You think about the first quarter, Puerto Rico, like you said, was right there, but it was the mistakes that made the difference.
You don't want to get into a back and forth game with Israel. If so, it plays to their advantage. Again, they're fresher, but this is what they've done in their first 2 wins throughout World Championships. So they have fresh legs, they're not as tired, and they have proven successful with going back and forth. And we've already seen any time that Puerto Rico has done that to date, it's cost them.
It's almost like the teams that make the opponent the least comfortable do the best in this setting. Krevsky to Kraft. Now Nate Solomon. They go 2 behind the net right now. Kraft sets the pick. Solomon wraps around and rips that one way upstairs.
Excellent job by Will Mark in goal, hugging that pipe as a defender got tied up a little bit behind the goal off of the pick. Another Syracuse product, began at LIU, then switched to Syracuse. He's a top 25 Tewaaraton nominee in goal. So he knows a thing or two about making some saves.
He got that nomination. He was really hot to begin the year. Syracuse couldn't really get over the hump this year as a team. Now Robert Shane has Israel continues a lengthy possession. Kraft is checked, lost the ball. It goes right to Solomon.
Anytime you're working a two-man game, look, and Puerto Rico just forcing a turnover right there. A two-man game, they're looking for pick and rolls. They're looking for pick and slips. Anytime they can just mix up the defense. Now both defenders standing there, they're going to take a risk by going for a check, but it proved fruitful. Now we're seeing that patience yet again offensively. They have not produced a goal since early in the first quarter. So Puerto Rico taking their time. Again, wanting to set up the best play, not a play, not an okay play, but that humility guarantee is what was talked about by the coaching staff. We know you can do it, but is that what's best?
Popek slid on Melendez. Now it's Laureano against a short stick. On behind, Lewis with the angle. Morris did enough. It is loose behind the net. Lewis picks up the loose ball. Rushing the short angle, Melendez.
Russell Melendez, another young buck for Puerto Rico. Earlier in the set, Christian Laureano, a product of Mercer, he seemed to be open on the far side. We can see him in the shot, forever waiting for that ball, but Puerto Rico battled back. Nice little ground ball coming into play, Kevin Lewis. And then Russell Melendez powering through, around the crease, closing the gap to just one now. So we can tell, we talked about this game, back and forth is what we expect. Each team knowing what lies. This is for first place within their pool.
Off the quick restart, Israel's got a big look. Kadish, the executive director of Israel Lacrosse, can now add to his job title, goal scorer in 2023 in the World Championship.
Listen, these goals are happening too fast. I can't even write and keep up. But a good battle at the face-off and a quick pickup as soon as Israel gains possession right here off of that foul. Head coach had talked about, we push the ball in transition. We've even had some of our long poles scoring. They didn't need to. They got the ball into ever-capable Kadish's hands.
Again, both of these last two goals, after lengthy set offense for each team, you saw a ground ball get picked up by Puerto Rico. They win that possession game, they score. And then straight away off of the ensuing face-off, Israel gets transition. So this goes back to our thought about how much possession matters. Although, as you say, this has been a quicker paced game with more scoring than most of these pool play games have featured. Lots of athleticism, a lot of current NCAA talent on each of these teams and recent former grads as well. Balin turns the corner. A little bit of a changeup, but he tosses toward Morris, who is in the mix looking for that ground ball. And we get a whistle. It will send it to Israel. Israel so dangerous in transition. Wiley Sherman, the defensive midfielder, helping out in the clear, leaving some coverage players in his wake. He settles it down. We get a whistle and a timeout. Middle second quarter. Israel for now holding Puerto Rico at arm's length. Let's take a look at the stat sheet during the timeout, Courtney. And the stats right now in terms of shots, face-offs, that stuff pretty even, but stylistically, this probably fits the script a little better for Israel, and thus the 2-goal lead.
Absolutely. We saw in that last play that they were pushing the fast break from the defensive end of the field, and we're going to continue to see that. It's one of the strengths that they feel they have. Their defense can generate the offense for them. We've already seen it here today. In their previous 2 games where they were able to come up with wins, that was very important.
Winner of this game is the winner of this stacked Pool C, second to last day of pool play. Matthew Balter ends up feeding Krevsky. Got a lot of size at the midfield spot. Big crank and a goal, Solomon. He has come to play on this Sunday afternoon.
Here's what I love. Everybody steps up in different ways. Nate Solomon, he was actually touted as being one of the best ball carriers, feeders, assisters, but he is certainly that alpha on the offensive end of the field. He gets a head of steam behind him, and he has a wind-up shot, difficult to stop, as we have seen here today. Again, he was the first goal scorer for Israel.
Solomon was second on Syracuse in points in both his junior and senior year. So again, examples on both sides of players from high major programs that were crucial contributors on high major programs in the NCAA. Zachary Paul getting a look out of Hofstra. They get Kadish out of there on the Israel side. Rotatori comes on for a shift to replace Silberlicht. And then Ori Bar David, one of the Israel born and raised players, comes in. Number 53. Shane, nice stutter step. They'll cue it back up top with Solomon.
Those offensive keys for Israel, 3 of them: share the rock, point to your assist man, and then have a lot of variation and diversity.
Ori Bar David is stopped by Will Mark. Mark puts that in harm's way. He's bailed out by Tomas Rodriguez.
You know, again, the mental game comes into play. This is their 4th game in 4 days. Puerto Rico. Israel had a day off yesterday. This is just their 3rd game.
It's stolen. Nate Solomon. Mark gets himself set. Great check late at the end. Solomon leaves it off, and that goes off someone's helmet on the shot by Sherman. After all, that pops way up in the air. Israel still controls it. One last feed at the end, and Israel cashes in. What a sequence, all leading to a goal.
Looks like they are calling a crease violation, and that is a big help to Puerto Rico. They had some great stops. They were able to stop Nate Solomon in transition after he intercepted that ball. And then they were able to block a shot. And then one more look. There's only so many times that you can make a defensive stop before they're going to get one. So lucky.
Yeah, big break there for Puerto Rico. Israel just trying to rush forward. Any opportunity. Rotatori. Flag comes in.
Let's take another look at this right here. Excellent vision onto the backside, right down to the crease.
Oh, toe in there, yep.
Fake and finish, but look at that. More than a toe. That might have been half of his foot. Nevertheless, great job by the referees. They have done an outstanding job on the field. Many of them from a lot of different countries, but they are all on the same page. International rules. They know what they're doing on the field, and their eyes are open.
So We had a timeout taken by Puerto Rico with 2:54 left to go in the first half. Puerto Rico took the early lead, Courtney, and then Israel quickly responded and has held a multi-goal lead for the majority of the second quarter. This is either team's largest lead, this current 6-3 advantage. Been a big day for Nate Solomon. He's got 2 goals and an assist. Melendez with 2 to lead Puerto Rico. You know what, one thing too we haven't really talked about that much, it's a great goaltender matchup. I think both teams view that as a strength. You have players on the Puerto Rico side who both might see time. Will Mark, who's in there right now from Syracuse. Will Ramos might be seen in the second half out of UAlbany. And then the Johns Hopkins and Maryland duo for Israel, Eric Schneider and Drew Morris, who gets the majority of the time. You know, Morris has been very good in this tournament as well.
You know, it's interesting. We've seen a lot of that. Goalies splitting times. Puerto Rico said they obviously trust both players. Head coach Alec Jones said, we trust them. We're going to stick with the rotation for now. You know, we saw the other night, Australia, they generally rotate, but he had said before that game, if we are really hot in that first half, we're not going to make the switch. So at some point, you do end up buying in and sticking with the goalie if they're standing on their head. And most definitely that Canada-Australia game, 2-0 at the half, you'll stick with that.
Yeah, hard to say no to that after a half like that, but it's kind of sensitive because only one guy can be in there. It's different than any other position. But Puerto Rico told us no competition there. Will Mark gets down to his knees to make that save against Maxwell Krevsky. Mealy 1-on-2, somehow beats them both. What a clearing effort by David Mealy out of Stony Brook.
And the pressure in the ride that Israel is displaying, they're giving nothing easy. You know, Puerto Rico's got to help the ball a bit more. You can't rely on just one player trying to do everything. But nevertheless, he was able to clear that ball, give Puerto Rico another offensive set. This is key for them to close the gap here as the second quarter is winding down. Want to try and tack on at least one more before the end of the first half.
Yeah, again, this is Israel's largest lead. Russell Melendez already has 2. He's got a step, he lets it go, but again, it's Morris getting more comfortable and then leading the transition. Krevsky, an athletic guy at midfield, lead feed, numbers on the doorstep. Shane couldn't make the catch. Key loose ball with Mark out of his net. Everyone pitching in for Puerto Rico in particular. They get the ball, there's a whistle, and a timeout for Team Puerto Rico with 1:15 to go. And now, wait a second.
Potentially there was a timeout for Puerto Rico. It looks like the referees are discussing this.
Could be one of those, you only know what's going on if you're down there.
And I stand corrected. No, I don't. I am not corrected. It is going to be Puerto Rico's ball coming out of the defensive end, and that's huge. That was a big ground ball battle behind the goal. We've seen some junk goals occur where offenses can pick it up quickly and just get a nice little junk goal in front. But Puerto Rico knew the importance of getting that ball, having one more chance offensively.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what happened there, but I know that Puerto Rico will take it. 50 seconds to go in the first half, an extended drought for Team Puerto Rico.
And their fans are going. It's a lively group. They talked about what Puerto Rico lacrosse is, or what it means to be a Puerto Rican, and it's fun and family. And we certainly feel that in the stands as they shake. They're trying to get the team going.
We were told, by the way, just a second ago, Israel tried to call timeout while the ball was still loose. So they were called for illegal procedure. That's what led to this possession, as it's Aviles. And it's Israel's with 10 seconds. Now it's Puerto Rico's again. One last chance for Team PR. Valcarcel, he's got it back, and he scores! With a second and a half to go. That was what Puerto Rico needed.
Number one in white put the team on his back in that one. Excellent job of riding. We feel the life from Puerto Rico. They lost the ball, were able to get it back, and back and forth. Nice swim move right around the crease. Again, Valcarcel, he is the best initiator. He is electric on the field, so quick and shifty. Closing the gap. Again, much needed goal for Puerto Rico.
Wow, what an ending to the first half. We had each team score super close to the end of each of the first two quarters. Israel in the final 5 seconds of the first quarter, and Puerto Rico nearly at the horn of the second. Puerto Rico getting their mechanics ready coming in. How many balls can you juggle? After a hot Puerto Rico start, Israel coming back strong. Puerto Rico at the very end. They're down by 2. Start of the third quarter in beautiful San Diego. Day 4 of 5 in pool play. It's a Pool C matchup between unbeaten Puerto Rico and unbeaten Israel. AJ Cannell, Courtney Martinez, Connor. First half highlights. Take a look at Joey Kraft helping the scoring charge early on for Team Israel as the teams traded goals in the opening quarter. Great series of fakes from Nate Solomon, who scored a couple of goals in the first half. Really was a first quarter that went back and forth. This was a highlight play as Israel controlled the second quarter. The great save by Popek, the goal from Krevsky.
And then Puerto Rico got things started. Kevin Lewis to Nate Melendez. Joshua Valcarcel got involved as well in this last-ditch effort to bring the score to just 4-6, closing the gap right before the end of the first half.
Well, I wanted to say when Israel scored with 4 seconds in the first quarter, bookmark this for later, but then you could say the same thing at the end of the first half. 2 pivotal goals kind of turns into a trade-off there. So the result, I thought when it was settled, Courtney, Israel and Puerto Rico were similar, but Israel was just so good in transition. And that was the difference in the first half.
They were quick coming out of their defensive end, always seeming to have a fast break. Extra players coming out of the defensive end. Their athleticism, speed, they were able to capitalize a lot of times from defense to offense, which is one of their focuses.
As expected, the goalie change at halftime. Will Ramos is in for Will Mark. Ramos does enough to stop that Solomon bid. Solomon going back around. Gets it to go on that occasion. It is a hat trick for Nate Solomon.
So, like that initial look, a lot of fakes. He gets his own ground ball behind. And then we just see defensively, number 26, Nicolas Vasquez of Puerto Rico kind of jogging after him. You cannot jog after Nate Solomon. He will make you pay as he gets yet another goal for Team Israel. This is 1, 2, 3, his 4th goal of the day.
Yeah, I don't know, a little bit of a discrepancy in the stat sheet, whether it's his third or fourth. So we'll go make sure we sort that out. But either case, not really the first shot of the day you want to face if you are Will Ramos.
And uncontested at that. He came around again, free of his defensive player who wasn't in too big of a hurry to catch up to him.
Well, you mentioned you wanted to see a little bit more from Nicholas Vasquez on that pursuit. As Israel's getting called for a 30-second push here. Not exactly what Coach Jernstedt told us. We said he wanted to see his team empty the tank. That was the theme of the day. They've had a theme each day so far during pool play. The theme today is empty the tank.
A lot of gritty play he's looking for. The intangibles, he said, are going to be big. You have to have mental toughness. Most definitely that entails gritty play.
Another flag comes in. Israel already a man down and will now be 2 down. We just got confirmation it is 3 goals on the day for Solomon.
So the time keeps running. We just saw one of their penalties counted down as the other player was getting off the field. So instead of a 6v4, it'll be a 6v5. International play, the clock does not stop. First 3 quarters until the final 30 seconds. Fourth quarter, the last 2 minutes.
We've seen strategically that running clock come into play. And yeah, they stacked the 2 penalties on top, like you said. As Melendez fakes the shot instead, a nifty pass, and Laureano stings one. He has scored in every game so far. The attackman out of Bradenton, Florida.
What I like about this, the one more. Russell Melendez, number 31, with the no-look skip pass all the way over. He's hitting Christian Laureano, known as an outside shooter. Great vision to an excellent finish in a man-up situation. That's what you want to do. Finish the play, capitalize on the opportunities presented to you. Puerto Rico Lacrosse definitely happy with that one.
Outside shooter looking like J.J. Barea there for Team Puerto Rico. I can't just give you the vanilla Steph Curry thing. I got to make it Puerto Rican.
I hear ya. Lively bunch.
Well, that, you know, it's funny. We joke, but it's something that Coach Jernstedt was saying. He wants fans and supporters and Puerto Ricans to watch his team play and see a style that is distinctly Puerto Rican. That would have been crazy. Around the back, over the back. Type of look in deep there for Lewis.
Maybe a push from behind.
Instead, Valcarcel coming off the stoppage. Aviles top side. Saved by Morris. With the long hair, Jacob Silberlicht into the foreground. If you're the Puerto Rico coaching staff at halftime, what were the key adjustments going into the second?
You know, making sure that they played their game. We didn't necessarily see gritty play consistently. Defensively, stopping a few players. Solomon, Krevsky, Shane. I say Solomon, they may want to make sure they can have some quicker slides to him.
Underline that name. Maybe get out the highlighter on that one.
They do feel like if they support one another and look to slide a little bit quicker.
Shane tries the slide and Balter cashes in.
Matthew Balter from UMass Lowell, another one of those dangerous offensive weapons along with Krebsky and Shane. Right here, that slide maybe wasn't necessary, maybe so, but the second slide has got to get there. When your first goes, where's the two? And Balter getting another goal from, that's his fourth goal of the tournament, first goal here today.
Yeah, I was making the point the other day on a different game that as we see a whistle here to decide this face-off, we talk so much about the possession game, ground balls, face-offs. It's also remarkable how many of those ground balls are decided by a whistle. It's like the ability to get a ground ball without committing a foul is crucial. Not a lot of teams do it consistently. No, it sounds simple.
Yeah, very true, very true. That's why any one of those defensive players who can come up with a ground ball, get it cleanly, and start the offense. It's been a question that I've asked coaches over and over again. Who's able to cleanly come up with a ground ball for you consistently? Sometimes I get the look at nobody. And other times they for sure throwing out a name.
Blake Balin. Passed to no one, and that was definitely a pass, so it goes out of bounds. Last touch by Puerto Rico, and now this will be a timeout. So the Puerto Ricans were hoping they could carry that last second goal momentum into the third. Not quite the case so far. This is the 2023 World Lacrosse Men's Championship, presented by Radiant Children's Hospital. AJ Cannell, Courtney Martinez, Connor. And again, one of those games you circled on the schedule when they put the pool schedule play out. First day of pool play was technically Wednesday for United States and Canada. The balance of the games got started on Thursday. So I kind of say, really, I guess it's day 5, but it feels like day 4. In large part for pool play, the final day is tomorrow. Puerto Rico playing its final game, looking to go a perfect 4-0 in pool play. Israel is 2-0 with one more tomorrow. Fitzpatrick trying to do too much there, perhaps.
That's a gritty play that the Puerto Rican coaches are talking about. Battle, anything it takes to keep the ball, win it back. Empty the tank.
Empty the tank.
As their theme says.
A little bit of gas just left the tank right there. Stepped on the pedal a little bit more.
You know, so often you want to not focus on the result, but just the controllables. Controllables, playing smart, finishing every single play that you can.
And avoiding probably stuff like that.
Avoiding, that's just giving the ball away at that point. At this stage, we know everybody can catch and throw. That's just a little bit of lack of focus, maybe a little bit of tiredness.
Oh, it's crazy, though, because you think about how far this sport has come. But it also is a simple sport. And we have a field of 30 teams here in San Diego, and it's amazing how much the best teams are decided by who does the basics well. It's so obvious when you watch everyone play that that's what it's about.
It's so true for all the young lacrosse fans watching. All of the top collegiate programs, international, they are still working on those basics through and through over and over again. They're playing catch, they're dodging, they're doing a lot of skeleton work.
I saw a player from Team Hong Kong, China going crazy with some wall ball after one of their games recently in a tunnel, as that is thrown away by Jackson Apelt. So dueling turnovers. Game has slowed down a little bit, looking for a bit of a rhythm here in the third quarter.
You know, an interesting fact about Puerto Rico, when they were playing in the Palas, and actually they were first place team in qualifying, At the end, they had 17 guys healthy at the end. When you play a lot of games in a short amount of time, it's inevitable. So that was one of their focuses, that they wanted to make sure that they were pushing the envelope while still giving their bodies rest, which is kind of hard to do when you're playing back to back to back to back. But when they won it all, it's a nice, interesting story. Their starting keeper, they only brought one, went down and hurt his ankle pretty bad. And they had another player step up onto the field and say, I can do it. I know how to play goal. He made 3 saves in those final 5 minutes. Kevin Lewis, the attackman, stepping in, which was pretty amazing. And then Miele came up and scored the final goal in the last 6 seconds. So it's a team who does know how to fight through adversity, and that's what a lot of sports is all about.
I would say a field player stepping in at goalie is fighting through adversity. Lewis is out there right now, number 4.
And making 3 saves at that.
Right. Not just being in there, doing well and contributing and helping win the game. As that is barred down and not considered a goal for Blake Balin. And there is no replay review. They made the call, and that's what it is. The Puerto Rico fans thought it went. We have fans looking back towards us wondering if we have a replay of it. But it is not reviewable, and now there's a flag down.
Now there's a flag on the field, a penalty. But one look at this right here.
I don't think it went. I think it was the right call.
So the complete ball has to cross the line. It was a little bit quick. Didn't quite pause it there. It's close.
It was close.
For certain close, but without a video review, the call on the field stands.
Yeah, I'm gonna go on record and say I don't think it went, but it was close.
And I'll go the other way.
You're gonna go the other way?
What the heck? That should have been a goal.
Oh, come on! You're just disagreeing with me to disagree with me.
Yes, true. Make it interesting.
Well, Puerto Rico looking to make up for it, but Drew Morris is getting hot. He got a piece of that shot, by the way, as you saw in the replay, so it would be considered a save. He's made a few in a row.
You know, Puerto Rico, the coaching staff had talked about needing to be better. One thing that they learned is being better at the international game, slowing it down.
Flag flies, Rotatori on the doorstep. Sherman is in. Defensive midfielder putting one home for Team Israel.
Big transition play. A lot of back and forth. I know the score is 9-5, but it feels so much closer than this. A big wind-up shot by David Miele and an even bigger save for Drew Morris. Look at that excitement. Fast break from one end to the other end of the field. Brian Rotatori finding Wiley Sherman on the crease. It's what the coaching staff talked about. Transition play, we're good at it. We can do it. Let's capitalize and show it.
And it really doesn't matter who's out there then. They're confident regardless. I mean, Sherman, he played at Hobart, and he was a defensive midfielder his whole career there. He's actually now scored 3 goals in the tournament. I think if you look at the film, he's usually out there playing defense. But he's managed 3 goals in that role. We saw Fitzpatrick the other day score 2 with the pole. And Israel has taken command. Slash as well on Puerto Rico, which is a man down. At the end of the quarter, they'll hold on to possession in a man down situation. Israel on top by its largest margin after the Wiley Sherman goal. It's 9-5, end of 3. A crucial pool play matchup enters the 4th quarter. Puerto Rico held a lead early on, but Israel went on a run in the first half and has not looked back. Now up by its largest margin. Puerto Rico right now 30 seconds more of penalty time to serve. Looking for a man down goal. Balcarcel was close. There have only been 4 man down goals in the entire tournament between all the teams. That was close to a 5th.
That's a lot of games for you to look through and figure out that stat.
Well, there was a shortcut or two. I went just shuffling through every single box score last night.
Diligent. Now Puerto Rico, their identity, playing with passion.
And around the back, Flair. Shot by Balin.
Coaching staff talked about this team just being really selfless. They enjoy one another. They have a lot of fun when they're in the dorms, playing a lot of music. They have a singer or two. Justin Ukros, one of the funniest players on the team. You like to rely on a lot of team camaraderie, building that chemistry, so important.
Morris stepping out, making the stop. Big collision in front of the crease. Loose ball push against Israel. Now the likelihood is that the song will keep on playing for both of these teams, Courtney, and you know, first place guarantees a trip to the winner's bracket, but in reality, likely out of this pool, second place will make it, and whoever loses this will very likely be second place when all is said and done.
And that's important to note, but these teams, obviously, you want to build your confidence off of coming away with this win, but all is not said and done. I will say, in goal, Drew Morris, he has just had the number for Puerto Rico. His eyes are locked in. He is seeing the ball well today.
Up to 11 saves. Have we reached the point where you start to think twice as a shooter? You know how a goalie can get into your head a little bit as the game goes along. Are we kind of getting there a little bit as timeout is called?
You know, I think you get frustrated for certain. That's the player. However, the coach is like, it's no big deal. We got it. The next one will fall. So it's all about keeping that positive mentality. In Puerto Rico, they like to play fast. They're a very versatile team. It's just next man up. Get the ball into the next person's stick. Let's make sure we can get some quality looks. And these are quality looks. It's just even better saves.
That was like what you said to me when I messed up that player in the crease goal call. You were like, you'll get him next time, AJ.
Did I say that? Maybe. I gave you the look.
No, I actually missed that one. But I'm just letting you know what to tell me next time. Now,
it's a young team, too. When you think about that, it's a lot riding on their shoulders. Their age gap is like sophomore in college all the way to 28 years old. Not a single 30-year-old on the team. All of a sudden, that's old.
Yeah. Well, hold on. But
no, old in terms of their team age gap. Israel, we take a look back. Again, the saves coming from the cage. Drew Morris locked in. He's really the fire starter on that defensive end of the field. He gets the ball moving to the offensive end. And right there, even though he made a save, the ball was going to stick with Puerto Rico. Hustling back into the cage. Love his efforts. He is certainly a fire starter.
Fire starter?
Yeah, of the attack from the defensive end.
Okay. Now I get it. I just needed a second. Sometimes I need a second.
Unfortunate for Puerto Rico, but Israel playing tough. And now's the point where they can slow things down. They're leading by 4.
Yeah.
There's no need to rush. Have a 2-minute possession. Make the referees put their hands up into that wonderful big L, telling you to keep it inside of the box.
Yeah, generally we've seen those stall warnings few and far between. I don't know about the games that you've done. We've done a couple together, but not been many stall warnings thus far during pool play. That gets through 2 players, but there's a flag down, and we'll see another man-up situation. Man-up numbers so far. Each team just has 1. Israel 1 for 3, Puerto Rico 1 for 4. These teams actually came in tied for first in terms of man-up goals amongst the entire field of 30. But there is some serious bookkeeping going on right now. Figure out who's serving this, what we're doing. They've stopped the clock. Normally it's running time until the final 2 minutes of the game.
So interesting. Another flag was thrown, which is why we saw a second player sprint off the field, but I am curious as to why the clock has stopped.
Well, I think when, just when you have a lengthy delay like this, they'll choose to stop it sometimes. But it's an illegal procedure penalty on Balin. 2 penalties on the play. Penalty Team Puerto Rico, 30 seconds. And Lacrosse also with a call against him. Puerto Rico, 30 seconds procedure. Apparently there was a timeout called without the ball as well that complicated matters, but 2 penalties against Puerto Rico, 6 on 4, and it's a goal for Jackson Apelt out of the University of Virginia. And Israel has doubled up Puerto Rico in this de facto Pool C title game.
So not surprised, the ball is in Nate Solomon's stick. Again, he is one of those leading assisters on the team, but he finds teammate right in front of the goal, Jackson Apelt. Love one of the facts about him. Coaches say he's just built like a Ferrari, and that stemmed from his collegiate days when he was at Virginia. Head coach there giving him that little acronym. You want to be a Ferrari as opposed to a, I can't even think of the name of a not good car.
Well, are you thinking of a smaller car, a slower car? I don't want to throw any brands under the bus necessarily.
True, but Ferrari, that's a nice little car to say you're after. He is a finisher, fancy player on the field. Now the score is doubled up. This is difficult for Puerto Rico after another face-off loss.
Yeah, Israel, I mean, we've looked at it from the Puerto Rico perspective. They played the extra game. They wanted to try and neutralize Israel, slow him down. It really hasn't gone that way for them, but just got to give Israel some credit, as this is Ori Bar David trying to make a play. He's taken down from behind, and that's a flag. But this Israel team is just so steady. They do so many different things well. Numerous options offensively, transition options all across the board, really solid in net. Not a lot of obvious weaknesses on this Israel side right now.
No, at all. And you know what, now as I think about it, Jackson Apelt, Ferrari, he's a Dodger, so Ferrari is the king of dodging speed. I don't know.
Go for it.
I'm trying to guess.
Take it.
What
Take
exactly?
it and run with it. Off the post on the shot by Krevsky.
A little bit of a sense of urgency is needed. They're down by 5. Lacrosse is a game of runs. It's not unheard of to score goals, score them quickly. But they got to start to make moves. Now's not the time to hold the ball. but they got to shoot accurately.
Banks takes a shot. Behind there is Kevin Lewis.
Take some risks. I know that's not their original game plan, but now is the point. Go for it.
Yeah, at a certain point, you throw the game plan out. You're down by 5. The only thing is you don't want to get too far back in terms of goal differential for tiebreakers, but they should be safe regardless when it comes to getting into the field as the second place team. And they're back 1 goal closer. I think that was Ball Carcel on a bit of a fadeaway.
Helmet getting knocked off in the process. Not sure if a flag was thrown. Nevertheless, Puerto Rico closing the gap.
Back here alongside the Ferrari, Courtney Martinez, Connor, I'm the Ford Pinto. AJ Cannell. I was just waiting.
I like that. Thank you.
7:18 to go in regulation. Puerto Rico not out of it here. It's been all Israel. It's felt like for a while, but it's only a 4-goal difference. More difficult to surpass with no shot clock. And with Israel's transition chops, Fitzpatrick had 2 and did the gritty after the second one in transition yesterday or 2 days ago against Philippines, as Sherman's shot is saved, and there have been those yellow flags flying in this second half.
A lot of penalties being called, and that's quite honestly what's been toughest for Puerto Rico. They're playing gritty. They're playing to the point of toughness, but all these penalties, 1 player, 2 player down, they hurt, plain and simple.
This is 30 seconds again. It's so tough when it's only a 30-second man up. As a coach, how do you get your team ready? And getting a nice shot off from Balter. How do you try and get your team ready to execute with a man up with only 30 seconds to work with?
You know, that sense of urgency, the quickness. You know, on the flip side, on the defensive end, you're like, it's just 30 seconds. We can outlast this. So that different mentality that you're always working on, whether it's attack or D. We tried getting the coaches to talk about the importance of this game, and I love the coaches speak. Hey, the focus is on us, which it should be. It should. I get that as a coach, but we're always asking for more. Give us more. What are you thinking secretly that you would never tell your team?
Val Carcel spinning, flag in the air again. And something's coming here against Israel. That is the modern day 2023 standard coach speak. In my opinion, I am now going to anoint it. We're only thinking about us. That is the thing that every coach says. I think they just don't want to tell us what their game plan is what I've started to figure out in those situations.
And I don't disagree. A lot of that comes into play. Many have sports psychologists. I know Israel head coach was talking about the sports psychologists that they work with. The mental game, the mental aspect, so very important. It's not just about the X's and O's on the field anymore, but that mental performance coach, learning how to perform on the field, learning how to let things go.
Putting new meaning to it's not you, it's me.
I'm really going to blow your mind on this one.
Let's see, after the flag, crawling in, looking for another one is Solomon, and now they'll adjudicate this.
So I played at Maryland, right? Won 5 national championships.
So I've heard.
It was always only about us. We never, hardly ever watched film on the opposing team. Now granted, I doubt these teams take it to that extent, but we just saw that replay. You can see why. There was yet another flag on the field, and that's just been the tough part for Puerto Rico defense. But I do think, yes, it's part coaches speak, but in all honesty, it does work. You have to play within your own framework. We can't solely play and think about that other team.
Lewis jockeying for position, and then on the backside, Donovan Lacey, the explosive transition player that likes to go defense to offense as a short stick D-midi. And I mean, honestly, every sequence down the field at this point has featured a yellow flag.
It has unselfish play by Kevin Lewis in transition. He was speeding off to goal, probably could have taken it in for himself, but Donovan Lacey, like that little face dodge, but the defense even tougher. Sometimes you're willing to give up an even play, take the flag, so that way you stop an easy, soft goal, essentially.
In the midst of a timeout here with 3:18 to go. I like what you said, though, that that's oftentimes what is most important as a team, focusing more on yourself, different sport, but I think about the teachings of John Wooden. I always remember him talking about that, reading about him. That was something that those players would talk about. And so, you know what, maybe it's true. Maybe I'm just being a little bit melodramatic.
No, but when you're in the booth, when our job is to try and get those stories out, it's like not as juicy as we necessarily think all the time, right?
Right.
But
it's when you're on the inside, you realize like how simple it is, how there's not necessarily that much more to it. There's no big conspiracy, there's no big secret about things.
Mm-hmm. Play within yourself, play our game. Whatever that style of game is, obviously different for each team in this tournament. A lot of great teams. But for Puerto Rico, it's all about fun, family, and being gritty.
The 2023 World Lacrosse Men's Championship is sponsored by Rady Children's Hospital, the largest children's hospital on the West Coast, ranked among the 10 best children's hospitals in the nation. So Puerto Rico held a lead at 2-1. Israel scored the next three, and they have led since late in the first quarter. Team Puerto Rico still within reach, but it's a long reach with 3 minutes to go. They need 4. Right now 6-on-5 as Melendez in traffic. Did that sneak in? Not quite. That is save number 14 for Drew Morris, and another flag comes in. Tempers flaring at this point, as the teams have racked up over 15 total penalties.
This man-up play right here, not necessarily moving the ball. Ooh. Looked like essentially, I'm going to take the side where it crossed again, since I did that before, but the entire ball must cross the goal line. Difficult to tell, but I'm going with it did. And so you're going to go the other way?
I'm going to trust what you said.
What makes it more fun when you go the other way?
I honestly couldn't tell. So I'm going to go with you. But it should be, regardless, Israel's result here. Israel now will have the upper hand in Pool C, the number 7 ranked team in the world coming in against number 8. Pool C, arguably the most difficult outside of Pool A, with 3 top 10 ranked teams, along with these 2 in the Philippines.
And they're going to run the clock out. Their style of play today worked for them. Score those transition goals, take the opportunities presented to us. And they just seem to finish more opportunities as the coaches had wanted.
Just one more flag for good measure.
And that proved fruitful. So a minute left, no need to score here. Take time off the clock. make Puerto Rico have to run around and just let the clock do the work.
Well, does that calculus change at all now with the man up? Israel calls timeout.
If they're going to come after you hard, absolutely. You might as well still take the opportunities that are there. But so often in men's lacrosse, we see, as the game is continuing on, that sportsmanship of just holding on to the play, but holding on to the ball, not necessarily trying to score another one. But if you're being pursued hotly, the only safe space is right in front of that goal.
See the infraction right there, and rotatory holding strong. So for perspective, the top 14 teams, which include all 5 from Pool A, the 5 first place teams from the other pools, and the top 4 second place teams from the 5 other pools, the top 14 advance to the winners bracket. Entering today, both Israel and Puerto Rico safely in the winners bracket. That does not change. I think Puerto Rico still, safe to say, headed there regardless of this result. Puerto Rico came in as the 7 seed, Israel as the 11 seed. They might flip-flop once this result goes official. So Israel a chance to be well above a top 10 finish coming out of pool play and give themselves favorable seeding going into the first round as they look to make the quarterfinals.
And they're still playing. Double team right on ball.
We never know. Goal differential could play a factor after a series of fakes. It's Solomon. And it's his 4th. A 6-point day to lead all point scorers for the Alpharetta, Georgia native, Nate Solomon.
Again, when the defense is playing you hard, you're going to continue playing on the offensive end of the field. That was a little bit of an accidental push. Referees did not throw another flag on that last one. Accidental late hit. But Nate Solomon, again, the alpha on the offensive end of the field for Israel. He has had himself a day today.
On the face-off, there's a hold called on Puerto Rico. Another flag comes in. The fans are just about sick of it up here. Israel looking for more. Sherman makes the pass. Here's one more. It's Solomon's 5th. Another assist by Shane, and it's 12-6. Goal differential could play a factor for seeding, and so you never know how much this matters. Israel adding to the tally against Puerto Rico.
Again, transition play. Coaching staff called it out. Head coach Max Silberlicht. Push the ball. Let the ball do the work. We want to get to our offense quickly. And Nate Solomon, he is the one at the opposite end of the field, capitalizing from all of this hard work. That one straight from the face-off. Moving that rock quickly, getting it into his ever-capable hands.
Israel has been parting the Red Seas today. And they're up 12-6 with under 30 seconds to go. Headed for a likely first-place finish in Pool C. Israel plays Czech Republic at 1 o'clock tomorrow in its final game. Puerto Rico gets the day off, can regroup after tomorrow. With 10 seconds to go, one last rip from Melendez, and that's the 15th save from Drew Morris. All the way down the other way, and that does it. Israel doubles up Puerto Rico in this matchup between 2 top 10 opponents. And Israel takes Pool C with a 12-6 victory. We'll come back and recap this one on the other side. Today belongs to Team Israel.
I'm here with Big League manager Denny Delgado to tell you about BetRivers.com's sportsbook app and same-game parlays. And with same-game parlays, you can combine different bets from the same game. Plus, with award-winning customer service, it's a home run.
It's your journey. Own every mile in the Hyundai Tucson with America's best warranty.
Now, get 0% financing or $750 bonus cash on the Hyundai Tucson. Visit buyhyundai.com.
All the ways to have a Whopper could unite the nation. No matter if you like Impossible or double bacon, we can agree there's a Whopper for you. 200,000 ways, boom, there's the proof.
BK, have it your way.
Back once again. You see a final 12-6. Israel over Puerto Rico. And it was Nate Solomon's time to shine. A 7-point performance to lead everyone and 5 goals. Solomon doing it in a variety of ways, set up by his talented teammates.
Nate Solomon, oftentimes the setup man, but today it was all about him being the finisher. He got a helper on the day as well, but he's finding himself right place, right time. So very accurate in his shooting capabilities. Didn't always need a lot of fakes and finishes, but when the time was necessary, he was ready. His number was called. Number 11 in blue, he was unstoppable.
Solomon was huge, as was Drew Morris with 15 saves, as Israel has the inside track at Pool C. Puerto Rico still in play for the winner's bracket. For Courtney Martinez-Connor, AJ Cannell saying so long from the sports deck here at San Diego State. Israel over Puerto Rico 12-6 on this Sunday afternoon.